which I'm going to tie into one conversation really. And the two things I'm going to discuss is hip-hop and violence. Hip-hop and violence. First, I want to start with violence, because one of the reasons I've come into your illustrious city is because this city, Toronto, is rising. Your crime rate is starting to rise. Your level of aggression is starting to rise. The streets of Toronto, even though it may not be as bad as Compton, California, or some parts of the Bronx or whatever, in that sense, nonetheless, you're creeping up the murder charts pretty quickly. And this is nothing to be proud of, I should say. One of the reasons I'm here is because I'm responding to that. I'm privileged to be in your college, your university right now, and the fact that you're here also is a high honor for me, not necessarily for you, for me. And I'll tell you why later on. Here's the point. Let's get right to it. Violence. Your city is becoming more and more violent. And I noticed that the same things that you're going through, and London in particular is going through, is the same thing that New York City went through in the early 80s. And we have some precedents for this. We have some history on this, how to deal with certain waves of aggression that seems to be coming through society. Thank you very much. Coming through society. Those that have ears to hear this, hear it. This is a controversial lecture, I must say. Most of my lectures are. I don't think them to be controversial. I just think it's the truth. But of course, if I offend anyone in here, please accept my apologies now. And there's the exit. So, violence and your society. Violence. What is violence? First of all, violence technically is a force. It's considered a force that stops you from your existence. Let me say it again. Violence is widely considered to be a force that stops you from existing. Now, the ultimate form of violence for human beings is murder. It completely stops your physical existence, your conscious existence. You're no longer here. But there are other kinds of violence that impede upon your existence as well, and you should know about that kind of violence before you get to the final degree of violence. What is it that causes aggressive behavior? What is it that causes a person to lash out with parts of their body to get their point across? According to the United Nations, the #1 cause of violence in the world is poverty. #1. That when human beings don't have enough to eat, drink, something on their back, roof over their head, they are more likely to aggressively get something to eat, get these shelters, these clothes, these resources that help them to exist. If you know you're going to die if you don't get something to eat, you will resort to violence to get something to eat. It's a matter of life and death. If the world is in poverty,